a team. The offensive line was decimated, leaving one of the NFL's most dangerous players, Barry Sanders, without much help. Tom Jackson visited the Lions training camp. He found a rebuilt line and a running back trying to forget the pounding of the 1992 season.
Play action, dig, double left, 26.
If I was a coach, and I thought it was very important, I mean, obviously, I'd go get probably the best lineman I could.
During the offseason, the Lions designated Pro Bowl tackle Lomas Brown their franchise player to protect him from becoming a free agent. Then they signed 3 free agents to protect the franchise. Ex-Falcon Bill Fralick is a 4-time Pro Bowler.
Good breakdown. Good breakdown.
Ex-Chief Dave Lutz is an 11-year veteran.
Go!
Ex-Charger Dave Richards has started every game in his career.
That's it? Good.
And Barry Sanders may be the happiest running back in the world.
You can tell just in the conversation that they love to go up and smash linebackers and whoever else gets in their way.
Basically, you got to be mean. You got to be willing to come off the ball, smash people in the face, under the chin.
They come back to the huddle excited about it.
Aggressiveness has got to come out of you. You've got to want to just beat on people.
Last year, all 3 played right guard. Lutz will move to right tackle and Richards to left guard.
If they just keep people off of Barry, let Barry get the ball, have a chance to find the crease, we'll all be rewarded.
Last year, only Barry Sanders could have run for 1,352 yards behind a makeshift offensive line. But last year's makeshift offensive line is now one of the NFL's most expensive. And the Lions are thinking that maybe, just maybe, their $13 million investment will pay a 2,000-yard dividend.
For 2,000 yards.
What about it?
Can you get 2,000 yards here? I stood back and I said, if there's another back in the world that can do what the Juice did, OJ's going to do it.
I don't want to degrade anybody, but it seems like the Juice, when he got it, he had to, because there's no one, I don't know who else he had on his team. I don't know if our game plan, will really call for me having to rush for that many yards.
The quest for 2,000, as well as a big year for the Lions, requires the passing game, whether it's triggered by Rodney Peete or Andre Ware, to keep defenses honest. And the Lions' defense, now anchored by Pat Swilling, must prevent the offense from having to play catch-up. And then the burden falls back on the trio of new, wealthy offensive linemen.
We want to come out of this, quote-unquote, being the saviors. We don't want to come out of this and things go wrong and being the goats.
Barry Sanders' running sparks a what-if question. What if his best runs weren't just to get back to the line of scrimmage? The Lions hope this will be the what-if year. In Detroit, Tom Jackson, ESPN.
The NFL Training Camp Report is brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Still to come on the show, Turk.
A sellout crowd is on hand here at Foxborough Stadium for the home opener of the New England Patriots as they play host to the Detroit Lions. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, despite the loss last week to the Bucs,
The Lions that quickly strike. And the Lions, talk about the quick strike Lions. Willie Clay takes the fumble back in, and Bill Parcells, who was trying to eliminate the mistakes of the fourth quarter last week, boy, he's not too pleased with that one on the opening kickoff return. Willie Clay with a 19-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the Lions that quickly on the board. Now, Wayne Fonts had mentioned to us, Dennis, that it was so important for his team to take this crowd out of it early. What a first. As Jason Hansen adds the point after, as we take a look at the replay of this fumble and the recovery by Willie Clay.
Jason Hansen's carrying the football well there. He just gets a hat right on the football. Very hard for him to hang on to that ball. I tell you, that's fantastic coverage by the Lions special teams.
Bill Parsons.
Right in, Dan Owens, number 90. Lawrence Pete, nose tackle, number 96. Mark Spindler, left end, number 93. Right outside linebacker, Pat Swilling, certainly one of the best in the game. Inside backers, Dennis Gibson, number 98. Chris Spillman, 54. The defensive backs, 38. Kevin Scott. Benny Blades, number 36 at free safety. Strong safety, Willie White.
Here at the helm for the Lions. Won out in a tough preseason battle. Some wouldn't say it was tough. And there was the offensive line of the Lions.
Jack Lynn replacing Lomas Brown. There's a spot we might want to watch today. There could be some pressure there. Dave Richards, of course, over to David Lutz.
And in the backfield, only one name, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, the only running back to score for the Lions since 1989.
His football personified, Spillman.
Chris Spillman, he is intense. He knows where that ball is going to go before the ball is even snapped. He knows the formation. He knows the personnel that's in the football game. Once again, Chris Spillman comes through. He sees the guard pull. He's just nice right behind the guard. That's the guard's man to pick up that linebacker and Chris Spillman. Chris Spillman with that quickness gets him to the Brett Perriman being a little bit exciting play here. He goes up, tips the ball himself, much like the interception of play ago. This time, Brett Perriman comes down with the football. Rodney under a little bit of pressure there.
And I tell you, one of the reasons Perriman might have been a little upset is he saw Andre Tippett coming his way, the black belt marshal.
Obviously, in the beginning of the game, you've got to try and establish your running game. What he's done, he's loosened up the New England Patriots defense with some passes to the tight end. He's got them a little bit more honest on their coverages. That gives Barry Sanders just that keyhole that we were talking about.
In the NFL.
As I'd mentioned earlier, James, this is what Mel Gray does. This is his marquee play. He just hits the hole. He doesn't wait. He doesn't dance around and worried about getting hit because he knows if he hits those holes that the men are blocking for him and that the guys are making for him, he'll get up there and he's not going to take any big shots.
And I tell you what, the offense has to feel good. Hansen, 2 of 5 for him.
I expect to see Coleman involved. He's the tight end that they want to get the football to. He does a very good job. He's got excellent hands. He does very good after he catches it, getting that extra yardage that we've just seen from him here. Actually, even showing a little bit of quick feet there, dodging one defender. I love to see Tim Goad there, number 72, the nose guard for the New England Patriots. Oh, heaven.
Dennis, once again, it looked like New England had the play perfectly diagnosed. Sanders somehow escapes.
That's vintage Barry Sanders there, James. He just plugs away, and then boom, he just goes for the big gain. Watch this down here on the sidelines. This is such a fantastic move. He stops on one leg. Look at that. Just continues to run, getting that extra yardage. Barry Sanders, such a powerful runner. I've heard in the past Barry Sanders enjoys lifting with the linemen. He likes getting in there in the weight room. He likes to sweat and work. Here by the tight ends for Detroit. This is Dan Henning's type of football. They like to use the tight end. Tight end's very involved in blocking. At that point, he was actually coming from an H-back position. They like to seal off that defensive end, pop the football right up the middle.
What did I hope? A late hit as Sanders was out of bounds and getting hit. You know, when I asked Barry, and that was a 15-yard pickup, I asked him, what one thing have you learned most? Go ahead and get this first.
Barry Sanders dipping the ball to the outside. Watch the explosion right there. Very quick feet. Boom, he gets to the outside. Singleton here with a little bit late hit. There's the shot. Boom. That's going to cost him.
Now, Singleton was involved with it, but they also give it about the contracts of Thurman Thomas and what Emmitt Smith is trying to get. Sanders has delivered year after year.
Barry Sanders wants to play football, James.
3rd and 1. Sanders has it for the afternoon, and that after going the first quarter, 5 carries for 6 yards. He's now got 20 for 105. Barry Sanders doing the job. 9:40 left in the ball game. Lions holding to a 1-point lead as Derek Moore comes on to replace Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders would have to be categorized.
Awesome.
Isn't that great? Barry Sanders running. No, I don't like that hole. He gets out. No, I don't like that hole either. And he just cuts it up. Here he goes. Barry Sanders takes the handoff. Looks, no, not there. No, not there either. I think I'll go out here. No, I don't like that either. Let me cut back inside. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
Unbelievable. 117 yards on the afternoon for young Mr. Sanders, and he is still young. Very impressive stat there. From this, it'll not only be credited as a sack, but the fumble recovery as well. Mark Spindler comes up with the ball, and you saw that reaction by Bill Parcells.
Pat Swilling coming off the corner against Bruce Armstrong. He just gets him on the speed rush. Wonderful, wonderful job just swatting the football out of his hand. That's excellent awareness by Pat Swilling. Pat Swilling, a veteran player, knows that he needs to get that football out, needs to get a turnover, switch that momentum, get the momentum on the Lions bench.
Leading by example. It does not have a sack, but hey, he's doing a lot of other things today. Today with turnovers.
James Brown, once again, that electric defense of the Lions. I can't believe it.
Mark Spindler comes up with the loose ball.
Coming here off the right of your screen, Chris Spillman blitzing, getting to the young quarterback Drew Bledsoe, knocking the ball out of his hands. Mark Spindler coming up with the fumble.
Defense.
Oh.
Game, 11 seconds is all it took. The game clearly not over. Derek Moore and the dangerous Mel Gray back to receive. And George Jameson falls on it. That would be a 21-yard gain on the play. This would be some kind of kick.
Watch Herman go up for this football. Look at that. Fantastic job by Herman Moore.
Knowing he was going to be taken out. Meeting the hit. His legs taken from up under him.
Takes a lot of courage to go up for balls like that. Something that I wouldn't like to do myself.
He's got a good basketball game, so that skill comes from that as well. 1st and 10. Ball at the 48 of New England. Sanders, the ball carrier. Reception by Perryman. Excellent play by Rodney Peete.
James, I think it's safe to say that they're within field goal range now. It'll be interesting to see what kind of safe play calling they call. Great strike to Perryman. Let's see if Wayne Fontes is going to be conservative, give the ball to Barry, get him within just a few more yards, give Hansen that extra bit of confidence.
7-yarder. And at that range, he is perfect. 10 of 10.
Jason Hansen to attempt
The man who was the special teamer of the week last week, the inaugural award in the NFL. Well, where it's spotted, this will be a 38-yarder for the ball game. And the Lions pull out the overtime victory on the strength of that 38-yarder by Jason Hansen to move to a record of 2-0 for the first time since 1985 as Bill Parcells and the New England Patriots fall to 0-2. Wayne Fontes, who recognized when we talked with him last night that his team was 1-4 on grass in the year of 1991 when they were 12-4, says, we'll do it today, and they did.
Hansen, obviously elated, wins the football game for the Lions. That's the ball game, James. Numbers. However, the mistakes that were made in the fourth quarter were just a bit too much for the Bledsoe to overcome.
Final score, the Lions win it in overtime, 19-16. Coming up next, it's the U.S. Open men's final with Cedric Pioline.
16-9, 22 seconds to go. Pats down. Drew Bledsoe sacked by Chris Spielman. Mark Spindler recovers. Wayne Fontes says, we've won. Bill Parcells, no flag. Defensive holding's the call. Pats get another chance. First and goal at the 2. Bledsoe, his favorite target, Vincent Brisby. We're tied at 16. Parcells loves what he sees. We go to overtime. Pats inside the Lions' territory. Leonard Russell, the big gainer, taking it down to the 5-yard line. Could the Pats erase being the Pats of old? No. Offensive holding. Lions, Jason Hanson taking advantage. The 38-yarder to win the game in overtime.
And the Lions pull out the
Parcells said getting closer to a win doesn't count. New England rookie Chris Slade, by the way, had 3 sacks. 2 Patriots had more than 3 sacks all of last season. Gary?
16, third quarter. Cardinals leading until Andre Ware looks off Chuck Cecil and hits Brett Perriman. Ware 11 of 24 in the game. 2 minutes left, 26-20. Cards trying to rally. Berline sacked by Robert Porcher. Tracy Scoggins in for the recovery. The Lions try to kick an insurance field goal with 16 seconds left. It's blocked. But luckily for them, it bounced into the arms of Jim Arnold, who holds on, and so do the Lions, despite a solid game from Steve Berline. Frustrated, 288 yards passing. The Cardinals lose 3 fumbles. His job may be in jeopardy. Joe Bugles. Andre Ware did not suffer a turnover. Barry Sanders, 90 yards on 23 carries. And Garrison Hurst rushing 15 times for 45 yards.
Bates recovers. The Seahawks would score a touchdown out of that. Lions first possession, second half. Gray redeems himself right here. A 95-yard return. His 6th career kickoff return for a touchdown. Big day for Gray. 3 kickoff returns for 117 yards. Speaking of big days, Herman Moore had one as well and made Rodney Peete a happy QB. What a catch. First play of the second quarter, it's Peete again to Mr. Moore for 13 yards into the end zone. 2 TDs for Moore. Second TD pass for Peete this year. How about Moore? More, I like that. The second effort into the end zone, 14-7 Lions. And yeah, Wayne Fontes is...
But in 10 tries since, Darryl Rogers and Wayne Fontes have been unable to achieve similar historical success. This was not a game for the record books. Jim Everett sitting on the sidelines. He was benched. More on what he thought about that. It was 6-0 at the hat, and that's T.J. Ruble hitting Ernie Jones. Ruble, the 9th-round pick out of Tulsa, rallying the Rams, but he's also the new holder, and that may have affected Tony Zendejas, who can't miss from beyond 50 yards, but misses the extra point to keep the game tied at 13. The Lions in the ensuing kickoff. Vernon Turner, trying to regain his footing and get them in field position, will cut across the 50 and put Rodney Peete in business. Well, the Rams had quarterback troubles until Ruble came in. Peete with the pump fake, and then over the middle to Rodney Coleman, puts him in field goal range for Jason Hanson, who won't miss from 18 yards out. And despite Ruble's heroics, as he went 12 of 17 for 151 yards, to counteract Pete's 249 yards and 15 of 29, the Lions pull it out. It's their first win in California since 1982. Everett 2 of 9 for 12 yards, 2 sacks, an INT, and a fumble. Some of his teammates have probably started referring to him as Chris Everett. And after the game, he said of his benching, I'm irate about this. This thing has been brewing for a while. Some people have instigated this, and now they've gotten what they asked for. Chuck Knox.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Here's Favre on a quick slant. Patterson Sharp, touchdown. Quick slant to Sterling Sharp. Short drop, looks, fires the pass to his left. Caught by Sharp, breaks the tackle. He's to the 20. He's to the 10. Sharp will go all the way. Touchdown, Green Bay. Sharp looks to his right towards Sharp. Goes it to Sharp. He's caught a touchdown. He's got the hat trick at Tampa Stadium. He looks for a quick pattern. Now comes to the sideline. It's Sterling Sharp. 15 to the 10. He's going to go again, folks. Touchdown, Sterling Sharp.
This is unbelievable.
Needs one more. Under pressure. Fires for the end zone. Got it. Touchdown. Jimmy Klein, Illinois.
Biggest touchdown pass, biggest touchdown of your career.
Biggest game of my life.
Going to throw it as far as he can. He's got a man down there. It is caught by Kevin Lee. The blitz is picked up. He's looking for a hit. Touchdown.
Standing in the pocket, hit on the release by Rice. It is caught. Touchdown, Michigan.
And coming back for it. Locked in with the
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Ahead to the 30, outside to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, in the Steelers' territory, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, 15, touchdown Browns! Unbelievable!
In the NFL, his teams have had just 2 losing seasons. More on Shula and his Dolphins in tonight's edition of Monday Evening Quarterback with Jack Edwards.
Just who throws the ball for Don Shula determines where it goes and how often it gets there. Leading all night, Shula had Scott Mitchell throw over the middle 42% of the time. Dan Marino had done it on only 26% of his passes when tied or ahead this season. Tight ends were Mitchell's targets twice as frequently as they had been with Marino. Instead of dump-offs from Marino, the running backs took handoffs. Miami's run-pass rate of 49-51 became 62% run, 38 pass with Mitchell, the perfect setup for a pass by Keith Byers. I guess that helps explain the 323 wins. T.J. Rubley may have won a job. Back in Week 7, the Rams' Jim Everett had an open field in front of him, but instead of scrambling for the first down, he forced the pass into the end zone. That didn't help Coach Chuck Knox's view of Everett. This week, Rubley saw his receivers covered, made a decision, and carried it out quickly. His scramble kept the touchdown drive alive. Everett, first half against the Lions, rolling right. 84, Troy Drayton is wide open in a seam. Is Everett running, or passing, or just on his way to the bench? Rubley, second half against the Lions, rolling right. His primary target is covered. 80, Henry Ellard breaks open. But Rubley, having shown mobility and decision-making skills, shows he can thread a needle too. He may just have turned the Rams quarterback situation upside down. But why didn't the Rams win? 26, Anthony Newman is literally in the shadow of Rodney Holman, but you can't cover a shadow, and Newman didn't take Holman. It was the difference between a 50% kick and an automatic. Jason Hansen has never missed inside 45 yards on grass. Injuries to Sam Mills and Jim Wilkes have softened the Saints' gut, and opponents are ramming the ball down New Orleans' throats as never before. For 7 seasons, there were no 100-yard rushers against the Saints in consecutive games, never more than 4 in any season. But Eric Pegram ran the total to 4 for this season by being the 4th in a row to do it. In 91 and 92, only Pro Bowlers went triple digits. In the last 4 games, 1 Pro Bowler, a rookie, a backup, and a Falcon. Atlanta ran more than it passed for only the 2nd time in 27 games. When they run all over you, word has gotten around.
Thanks, Jack, and we will know tomorrow.
In stolen bases with 36. Vince now only 3 behind Bert Campaneris. Coleman with 646 career stolen bases. Campaneris with 649. And Campy in 10th place. Ball 3 to Howard Johnson. Brocale didn't stop there. I mean, you know, the interpretation of that stop, a pitcher stopping, is to the whim of the umpire, it seems to me. Sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. Certainly stopped there, but Johnson walks, and the Mets threatening with 2 on and nobody out here in the 1st inning, and Eddie Murray coming up. Doc trying to win game number 150. Only Tom Seaver of the Mets has won more than 150 games. Seaver won 150 when he was 30 years old on May 11th. One guy from Tampa to another guy from Tampa. Doc to Fred. Doc won that one.
2 minutes. Getting the infield back all the way around. And good and 7 for the Mets. Only Fernando Valenzuela has more home runs. This bit hits the deep right center. Could be extra bases. It's way back. And it is going to be off of the fence. 1-run scores, 2-run score, 3-run score. Gooden ends up with a triple, and the Mets have taken the lead 4-1. The Mets, on the hitting of Dwight Gooden, have taken the lead.
RBIs number 6, 7, and 8 for Doc. He had 1 triple last year. This is his first triple this year, his 5th extra base hit. We have talked about it a lot of times that Doc is not a specialist. He is a general practitioner. He can do it all.
Gooden now with 62 runs batted in his major league career. Only Fernando Valenzuela of the active pitchers in baseball. Jeff Kent with a 3-run home run, and the Mets have cashed some big runs here in the 8th inning. Mets now leading by a score of 9-4 as Kent gets a 3-run home run.
Just sitting there saying, hit me hard, and he did. Have 9 runs on 16 hits. Hundley with 3 hits last night, 2 tonight. 2 good games back-to-back for Todd Hundley.
And that'll bring up Kevin Bynes. The Padres 4, and here's a word from Snapple.
But we mentioned earlier, John has not had that much of a chance to pitch this year. Matter of fact, this is only his 18th appearance, and here it is the week before the All-Star game. 3 saves on the year. The Mets have 7. Mike Maddox with 3. And by the way, tonight Mets.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Franco back, and Tuffle is struck out, and that will be the ball game. So the Mets struggle out of the 9th inning as they took a lead of 9-4 into the last inning. The Padres coming up with 3 runs to make it a 9-7 ball game. The Mets winning by a score of 9-7. The winning pitcher, Doc Gooden, he is now 8-8 in the year. It is his 150th win of the season. I should say of his career. 150th win of his career. It stops a 4-game losing streak. And the losing pitcher in the ball game was Dave Brocail, and his record now 2-4. So the Mets win it by a score of 9-7. We'll be back with a wrap right after this word from Coca-Cola Classic.
You explained that so well. 3-1-2-0 count. That imaginary box, make it smaller out in front of home plate, and Orsulak did. It was there, and he crushed it.
Well, his last home run, June the 11th, it was against Schilling of the Philadelphia Phillies, and now he takes in another strong pitcher, and Ramon Martinez, and picks up his 5th.
No chance any of the spectators could have been injured. Eric Davis of the Dodgers, quoted by the Associated Press, saying it's true his friend Vince Coleman of the Mets did throw a firecracker from Davis's car towards a group of fans after the Dodger-Met game Saturday in Los Angeles. 3 injuries were reported, including an 11-year-old boy who suffered shin lacerations and a 1-year-old girl who suffered an eye and a cheek injury. Nearly 3 weeks ago, an unidentified Met player threw a firecracker at reporters in the locker room. This time, says Davis, Coleman, quote, threw a firecracker out of the car. He didn't throw no firecracker into a crowd of people. Those people were behind a gate 20 feet away from my car. End quote. If it were a Met firecracker, it wouldn't have exploded. The sorry New Yorkers continued against the Dodgers. Vince Coleman was 0 for 5, and a lot of the fans applauded. Top of the 6th, no score. Joe Orsulak, who was supposed to have lost his starting job in the Met outfield, instead hits a home run off Ramon Martinez. Mets up 1-0. This for Eric Hillman, who gets Jose Offerman and strikes out 5. Tremendous performance from Hillman. He pitched 8+ beautiful innings in San Diego Tuesday, only to have the ball. Bottom of the 3rd. 2-1 New York. Former Met Kevin Mitchell launches the Sid Fernandez pitch over the center fielder. Ryan Thompson over the center field wall as well. Bottom 5 tied at 2. Hal Morris tries to break the tie. Joe Orsulak going over the wall to make the great catch. So we're still tied. Mets will come back top 7. Jeremy Burnitz, can of corn, right? Should be the easy out. Whoops. Randy Milligan misjudges the ball. First of 2 consecutive Reds errors led to 4-2 New York. Top 7, Mets up 4-2. Eddie Murray says, see you later. That would score Ryan Thompson ahead of him, put the Mets on top for good. Murray's 19th final is the Mets 6, and the Reds 2. Sid Fernandez, his first win since April. He actually knocked in the go-ahead run as well since he has dropped.
Offense? How about some defense? Joe Orsulak
hammered to right to left center.
Trying to make the grab and does exactly that. Dallas waving to Felipe Alou. Classy move, saying good luck with the pennant chase. New York wins it by the final of 9-3. Jeff Kent has 20 homers and 70 RBIs. He was the guy, of course, that came over in the David Cone deal. Tailgater, who made his second start since July 20th, allowed Cliff Floyd's first Major League home run. Cliff will probably have a couple more in his lifetime. With a week to play, here's how they stand in
The classic Broadway musical, Annie Get Your Gun, and so you will not see Charles Oakley or former Orioles cheerleader Wild Bill Hagee. I wondered what happened to him. You won't hear from any baseball Annies or Sterling Hitchcock, Glenn Braggs, or Travis Best.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Well, I don't sing, but I can hit the ball this far.
I can go farther.
Now, are you challenging me?
Yes, I challenge you in this edition of...
You know, I rarely make a mistake.
I'd make up for it.
Makes through 20, 30, he's off to the races, 40, 50, now to the 40, sprinting to the 30, to the 20, 15, to the 10-5, touchdown, Belgrade!
I'm like a runaway train. I can't be stopped. I can't even be contained.
Oh, yeah? Try this. Off the backboard, into the basket.
Off the ice, under the goalie, nothing but net. I can catch one-handed.
And who do you think it is? Michael Irvin!
Big deal. I can do it one-handed and in midair.
It doesn't matter where I am, I can score from anywhere.
Well, so can I.
I can score given any situation.
So can I.
The circle in front to Janney. They score! Halsley at the side of the crease!
Can you alley-oop?
Can I alley-oop?
Well, catch me if you can.
It's too easy.
You're not a team player.
Neither are you, so bug off.
Well, don't take it out on me.
You're a sore loser.
I'm going to stick this in your face.
You can't even come close.
All right, enough is enough.
I dress better.
I dance better.
Yeah, but check out my do.
So can you drive a bull?
And down the stretch they come.
No, but I can carve a pumpkin pretty fast.
Our competition is but a real dogfight.
This race is just too close to call.
We've saved the best for last.
You have to admit, the one who topped us all, this week, it's Joe Carter.